Hi guys, it's Tyler from Below Average, and I'm here to talk to you about the upcoming Kong Skull Island movie and what I hope it entails and what I kind of really want it to entail. See, the whole premise of the original 1933 movie is that it was nothing more than a monster movie that was just about a monster that kidnaps a female and protagonist named Anne who needs to get saved. Don't really learn anything. We don't really start to feel anything for him other than like, hey, it's a monster that grabbed this chick and ran. Then in 1962, Kong by that time was big enough to share a movie with Godzilla in Kong versus Godzilla. In it, we kind of find out that like, hey, apparently electricity powers him up. I'm not saying that it was canon with the original one or anything, but it's kind of nice to think so, except for the fact that in the end of the original movie, Kong dies. So I highly doubt it was the same Kong, but you know, that happened. In the 2005 Peter Jackson remake, we get a little bit more than the big old, hey, he's a monster that kidnaps a girl. In it, we find out that he is in fact, the last of his kind on Skull Island, and that he's very much alone and feels it. For while he has Anne, the woman that he kidnaps, she kind of starts to feel for him because, as I said, we see that he's very lonely, that he's sad, but and for some reason he has a fascination with her, most likely not in any romantic way, just a way of like, for some reason she brings joy to him, for some reason she's just special in that kind of a way. And the thing that both movies are very popular for is the fact that he starts scaling, is for its ending. He scales a tower and ends up falling to his death because of the planes that are shooting him down, because again, he has Anne and everyone's afraid for her. I mean, it's a giant gorilla with a woman in his hands. And the difference between these two is the fact in the 2005 version, because Anne started seeing a more humane, a gentle side to him, she is more drawn to be like, no, don't shoot him. In fact, she does. She shouts at the planes, no. As in, do not shoot him. She's not in any real danger. He's just reacting as an animal. He cares for her, and he's trying to protect her, thinking that when he was locked up on a stage, because the director of the movie set that Anne was actually working for, which is why they went to Skull Island, because they were filming a movie, brought him back and calls him Kong, or the eighth wonder of the world. And in the original one, she's screaming, help me, once again, because he's just an animal, and, you know, don't get attached to him. It was basically kind of the idea of the original one, which is, in a sense, very sad, because, you know, it's nice to get to know more about him. But anyway, the reason I brought in the Godzilla vs. Kong movie is because they're in 2020, as part of the Godzilla Kong universe that Universal is now starting up after its release of the new Godzilla movie. They actually plan on doing that, and it's actually a very nice idea because, you know, it's the two big creatures, monsters slash kaiju, that any movie has really ever brought forward. I mean, there are other ones, but these guys are like the Batman and Superman of their genre. And with that, well, let's talk about the trailer for the new 2017 King Kong movie. In it, we see basically the same premise. A director is taking his crew to an island, and havoc ensues after Kong kidnaps Anne. And because of this, they go and search for her. But in it, we kind of find a different thing, because in the original and the 2005 remake, the whole purpose of going to Skull Island is just to film a regular movie and to kind of check out the island and use it for background, and also slightly to check out the kind of unknown thing that's just simply called Kong, which we find out is the giant gorilla. Anyway, in it we see several bits of Kong, and the leg bits are kind of make you do actually kind of resemble more humanistic than gorilla, which makes me worried that they're going to turn him into more of a yeti creature. But in it we also see his hand, and at the very end we see like the emergence of his head, which does very look gorilla-y, and that's a good thing because, you know, though I'm not a huge stickler for like, oh, they didn't follow the entire premise, like, no, the whole point of a remake is to bring fresh ideas, a fresh look, while also at the same time staying true to the original source material, which is what I'm really hoping happens. And as I was saying about the director before I got sidetracked about Kong, is that in the remake, the director is played by John Goodman, and in the trailer he states that one of the bigger reasons he came here is not just to film this, is to also prove something that he's been trying to prove for, if I remember right, he states 30 years, which is that monsters do exist. And yeah, my big hope is that with the Kong movie, we get a fresh look like we did with the 2005 remake. A fresh look, but at the same time a very also true to the original source material movie, not just oh hey, this is what I wanted to do to help fit it. There's no problem with that. It's just you kind of got to stay true to the source material, otherwise some people are going to be mad. But one thing that I really like about source material, like getting a fresh look and while sticking to the source material for remakes, is that people like me who know about the original and have seen it and enjoy it can go in and be like, oh, I get that reference. Oh, I like how they changed this concept. Because the concept of like the director wanting to prove that monsters exist is a very interesting look, and it kind of makes me all like, oh yes, because that means we have more options, there's more stuff to expect. But anyway, with that in mind, guys, thank you for listening to me. Like, comment, subscribe. This was Tyler from Below Average. Have a good one.